Hi, my name is Matt from Record Technologies, and today we're going to show you how to build a short extension cable that'll fit onto your existing cable. So before you get started, what you're going to want to need is to make sure you have all of your stuff laid out. Get your outer casing here, a couple of your ferrules, your tips, one of your nuts. In this case, it's an extension cable, so only one side will have a nut. And then proceed to put it all together in the right order, otherwise your customer will be giving you a call in a couple of days. So to get this assembly started, what you're going to want to do is take your outer casing and make sure everything on the ends are nice and smooth and flush and without any kind of burrs or anything like that. Let's see if I can show that to you there. Yep. As you can see, it's nice and smooth and round. You're going to make sure you don't have any kind of burrs or anything that will interfere with the rotation of the cable. This keeps not, there we go. Hopefully you guys can see that. So what we're going to do is crimp on our cable ferrule ends, and those just slide on here. This one in particular has a stop in it, you can see, so it doesn't back down too deep. So what we're going to do is mount that one first. Take our pliers, get in there. I like to give a couple crimps just to make sure it's nice and secure there. Now for the other side, what you're going to want to do is make sure you put the nut on first. Before the ferrule. Otherwise you won't be able to get the nut onto the ferrule, especially when you already have the other side already crimped. Now for depth, you're going to want to have this just about so it makes full contact within the shaft here. That way any kind of slippage is minimalized. So got our nut on there, make sure it's on the right way, and it is. Double check on things, and then give that a couple taps. And there we go, our outer casing is complete. Now let's go on to the inner core. So we have our inner core here now. What we're going to do is mount one of the ends on, in this case the female side first, just because this side of the cable will bottom out when it's deep enough, which will give us this side to trim down to make sure it's the right length on that side. So for this side here, just needs a simple crimp. This is a 150, sorry. See if I can get that to focus there. So this is a 150 inner core, and this is going to be the 104 square tip, or sorry, female shaft. And what we're going to have to do is slide that in as deep as it goes. Take our pliers, give it a nice stiff crimp. And that way it's pretty secure, it's not going to fall out. Slide it inside the casing, and like I said, it bottoms out on that little fitting in the bottom of it, like so, which leaves us all of that extra casing, all of that extra inner core to trim off so we can get our tip on accordingly. Now to measure for this, what I like to do is make sure the one end is bottomed out. I keep a thumb on it just to make sure. Then I pull the nut flush against the ferrule on this side. Now when I see the amount that's sticking out, what I will do is take my cutters and trim it to the appropriate length the tip actually needs to be. So now I have a total length that the cable should be. Actually, that is a little long still, so trim off a smidgen more. Test that again, and that's more like it. So you want it sticking out about that far. That way when it goes in, it doesn't bind, but it still goes in for far enough to make a solid connection. So what we're going to do is pull the inner core back out. So we have the total length that we need. But when I put the tip on, it's still going to be too long. So we still need to trim it down a smidgen more. So there's a little trick that you get in there. So what you do is you put it in, and then just kind of hold it with your fingers, and you see the amount that it's actually going in by. And as we can see, we can kind of mark it by the mark here that's already on the tip. So what I do is I'll take that, kind of match it back against the inner core, so I know where to make a cut. Make that cut, put it on. I will not crimp it yet, because the last thing you want to do is have to throw out your work. Put it in, kind of push it down to make sure everything's fitting properly, and then take a little peek before you can verify it. Everything's snug, everything's in the right spot. Now we can go pull this out and make a crimp. So this 104 tip here, just slide it on. We already verified it's the right size. Give it a good snug crimp rather. Then you have your fitted 104 inner core. Slide it back in again. Just double check on everything. What I like to do at the end is just give it a little turn with your fingers. I don't know how well you can see that on camera, but it is turning. Feels nice and smooth. The next step is to grease it, just to make sure it keeps that rotation moving nice and smooth when it's bent around and moving around. So let's get that going. So this process is always the messiest process. What we have here is our grease. In this case, it's an airline grade grease. What we're going to do is just grease up the entire shaft. This is a nice short core, so it doesn't take too much. But I do like to be a little thorough with it. So you take that back inside, kind of getting as much of this stuff into the cable as possible. And on the end here, I always grease this part up a little more than it needs to, because this is metal on the ferrule here, and it's going to rotate a lot, so you want to make sure that that's going to have plenty of protection. Clean off any excess with your fingers, and then that's it. What we have now is our little 14-inch extension cable. This side here is a 7/8 thread with a 104 female tip. The other side here is a 7/8 nut with a 104 male tip. Feels nice and smooth. It's greased up. Should be well enough to last for quite a while in the field. So that's it for this video. We will be making more of these videos of customers bringing in their cables and making them new ones as they come in. Please like and subscribe if you like what you see, and we'll come again with another video soon. Thanks for watching.